Hi everyone, it's Melissa from Tassie Stitches, here to explain, hopefully in a little bit more detail or in a little bit more understandable way, how we're going to play our new game for next year, Deck of Whips. So in a year, there's 52 weeks, and in a deck of cards, there's 52 cards. So each week on the Sunday prior, I'm going to draw a card to stitch on for the following week. So you need to have your posts updated by the end of the first Sunday of January next year. So that'll be the 4th, and then we'll start actually playing the game on the 5th of January. And it will go slightly into next year. So on the Sunday prior, I will pick a card. So let's say, for instance, our first card is the 5 of Spades. You will stitch on the whip that you have assigned to this card. Now, there are a few different ways that you can assign whips to cards, and I'll go through those now. So the first way is the easiest and the hardest. So it's to assign one whip to each card, which is what I've done. So if I show you my Facebook page or my Facebook post, you can see here that I have assigned a whip to every single card. And on some of them, I have also actually got New Start of 2026. So I'll explain what that means a little bit later on, but for now, just know that if you would like to play one whip per card, you need to have 52 whips in your current whip pile, or be prepared to have up to 52 whips by the end of the year. The next one down is to do it by colour and face value. So for 5 of Spades, that would be a black 5. So you would assign 26 whips to red face values and black face values. Again, if you don't quite have 26, but you're prepared to have up to 26, that's an option for you. The next one down from that is per face value by itself. So that would be 13 whips for 13 face values. So for 5 of Spades, you would stitch on your whip that you have assigned to the number 5. The next one down from that is suits, and that drops dramatically down to 4. So there are 4 suits in a deck of cards if you're not familiar with cards. So they're diamonds, clubs, hearts and spades. So for the 5 of Spades, you would stitch on your spades whip. Then next one down from that is 2. 2 whips, 2 colours. So you stitch red or you stitch black. I didn't mention it earlier, but you need to make sure that each allocation that you make is unique. If you want to play 52 cards, you have to have up to 52 whips. You can't assign the same whip to 2 individual cards. But you can if you want to play coloured face value. So you just need to work out what's going to work for you. If you're a monogamous stitcher, that's also fine. You need to pick how you would like to play the game. So any of those options that we've just mentioned. But you're going to assign stitch counts starting from 100 and moving up. So if you pick per card, per individual card, you'll have stitch counts ranging anywhere from 100 to 5,200 stitches in a week. If that's too much of a stretch for you, then think of picking one of the lower ones. So if you wanted to pick stitch by suit, then you would have stitch counts ranging from 100 to 400. If you're playing any of the options as a normal stitcher, not a monogamous stitcher, you also need to nominate your weekly stitch count. You can nominate, or minimum, weekly stitch count. Mine is 300 because that's what I have worked out I can get done with all of my other plans on a whip that week. You can do a minimum of 100 and anywhere up from there. But the aim is to try and hit your minimum at least. If you want to stitch more, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead. Maybe you'll inspire me to do that as well. So what happens if you don't have quite the right number of whips that you're going to need for your chosen option? Then you can do what I have done, and there are 3 ways, but the way that I have chosen to go is New Start of 2026. So the 3 ways that you can assign a new start is you can assign a specific new start. So that is when you go, I'm going to start the reindeer and you write New Start, the reindeer, next to that particular card or card category. That means when that card or category is drawn for you, you must start that specific whip or project, because I'm not a whip yet. If you don't want to be that specific, you can do a general New Start. So you just write New Start, and then when that card or category is drawn for you, you just have to do a new start. So starting with a blank piece of fabric and putting a brand new start on it. If you're like me, I'm quite happy to play 52, but I don't like to have more than 53 whips on my whip list at any one time. And that's purely because that's how many lines are in my notebook. So it's a fairly arbitrary figure. However, that means if I have already made new starts, like a new year start, or I might start a project for a birthday or to meet a challenge because I'm a bit nuts, then you can do new start of 2026. So if you want to do new starts of 2026, then on your post, the first thing that you're going to, or the first comment on your post is going to be new starts for 2026. So under here, whenever you start something from the 1st of January, we'll make it, moving on, then you put down, and I'm just reading my notes so I get it all right, you put down the name of the whip, the date that you started it, the cover photo, and then you put down the picture of your blank fabric, and then also the picture that shows the end of your stitching session after starting that. So you might have put 100 stitches in, you might have put 500 stitches in. It doesn't matter. It's just showing me that you've actually started that whip on that date. Then when a card comes up that you've got a new start for, you can use one of those starts that you have already started. So you're not having to do a new start. You can do something you've already started in 2026. So when that happens, you update your main post and you put in the pattern title that you've chosen from your list of new starts that you've started that year. You might have 1, you might have 5 by the first time that comes out. If you haven't started anything yet, that will default to a general new start. So you can start anything that you like. So that is the 3 ways that you can do a new start, just depending on how many whips you want to end up with by the end of the year and how many things you're potentially planning on starting anyway next year. So I guess the next question is, what happens if you finish a whip? So if you finish a whip when that particular card hasn't been drawn yet, so for instance, if you finish the whip associated with the 5 of spades and we haven't drawn the 5 of spades yet, then you need to go to your main thread, edit it, and write next to it finished and the date that you finished it. And then the same way that we had starts of 2026, we then have finishes of 2026. And under finishes of 2026, you're going to post a picture of the finish and the date that you finished it, and obviously the name of the project as well. That would be good. I don't know if I wrote that in the instructions. If you are playing one of the lesser versions than the 1 per card, then you may have a category that you haven't finished yet. So you may have black 5s associated and you've done the stitching for the 5 of clubs, but you've finished that whip before the 5 of spades is pulled. Same thing. You just put finished and the date. I should also say on your main thread, you also then need to decide what whip you're going to replace that with. So you can replace it with another unique whip by just putting finished and the date that you finished it, and then the new whip that you're going to replace it with from your pile. Or you can replace it with any one of the new start options that we've already mentioned. So a specific new start with the same notation that you did for your new starts, a general new start, or a new start from 2026. So the 4 different ways you can replace a finished whip. If you finish your whip while you're actually stitching for that particular card or category, just finish it. Don't feel like you've got to do extra stitches. Just finish it and take the rest of the week off. And then replace it if it's a category for your future whips or future cards that haven't been drawn yet. So that's pretty much it. So there's no penalty stitches for this game. There will be passwords, purely because, the aim of the game is to try and get people to stitch within that week time period, not necessarily to start early or to do all their stitches earlier in the year and save up the photos. That's purely the reason for the passwords. What else is there to say? Oh, normal stitching rules apply for Down Under Divas for counting stitching. If you don't want to count, you can do hours, and I didn't mention that earlier. You can also double dip this challenge with the monthly challenges, but not with the weekly challenges, just because we plan a little bit further ahead for monthly challenges, but I think you can pivot a bit easier if you're playing the fortnightly challenges. So hopefully that answers most of your questions. Hopefully I've explained it pretty clearly. If I haven't, there's a question thread in the event, so please feel free to ask any questions. And remember, there are no stupid questions. If you're thinking it, there's probably a handful or more of other people who are thinking the same thing and who might be a little bit too scared to ask. It's better to ask than to not know at all. I hope you enjoy this game. It's a little bit different to what we've done in the past. If you've got any feedback, feel free to leave that in the comment section as well, or to PM me directly. I hope you enjoy it. Hopefully I'll see you a little bit more on FlossTube next year, and have fun. Thanks.